So, yeah, we'll chat about that later on.
I'm going to use this tonight.
It's not,
We're ready when you are there, Your Worship.
thank you, Mona. Here we go. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our council meeting, our public meeting for May 4th, 2021. You see before you council an agenda for our meeting today, items 1 through 8. Could I have a motion? Because I don't see anything outside the kit. A motion, please, for the agenda. It is moved by Councillor Fry and seconded by the Deputy Mayor. All in favor? Contrary-minded and carried. Thank you very much. You see as well now the minutes for April 20th, 2021. Calling for any errors or omissions first, please. Okay, hearing none, I'll ask council please to adopt the minutes. Do I have a motion? Moved by Councillor Antle, seconded by the Deputy Mayor. All in favor? Contrary-minded and carried. Business arising, please. Please quote the item number in the minutes or the item number in the action report. All right, I think enough time has elapsed, so let's move on to a couple of proclamations that we have here. And I think what I'll start by doing is reading it. And then I know we had a picture taken with another local MS organization called the Smiling Warriors a few minutes ago. It was good to see Zita Kavanaugh. And as we read this proclamation, we'll be thinking about all of our folks here in Mount Pearl and in our country that are afflicted by MS, as well as their family and friends. Whereas multiple sclerosis is a chronic, unpredictable, often disabling, demyelinating neurological disease affecting an estimated 100,000 Canadians, as well as their family, friends, and employees. And whereas MS symptoms vary widely and may lead to problems with numbness, coordination, vision, and speech, fatigue, as well as weakness, mobility issues, and even paralysis. And whereas people with MS are often misunderstood because many of their symptoms include fatigue, weakness, cognition difficulties, vision loss, and depression are invisible. And whereas although there is no known cure, with early drug therapy and proper healthcare management, disease progression can be slowed, helping people with MS to live active, rewarding, and productive lives. And whereas the Smiling Warriors, Newfoundland and Labrador is a local non-for-profit group raising awareness of MS and bringing support to people living with MS in Newfoundland and Labrador. And whereas the Smiling Warriors, Newfoundland and Labrador is made up of volunteers who advocate for people living with MS in Newfoundland and Labrador. And whereas increased awareness and public education not only enhances the quality of life of people living with MS, but also stimulates funds for vital research aimed at developing more disease-modifying treatments and ultimately a cure. And whereas the dedication and commitment of the supporters and volunteers makes all of this possible. Therefore, be it resolved that I, the Mayor of Mount Pearl, on behalf of my colleagues in council, do hereby proclaim May to be MS Awareness Month in the city of Mount Pearl for the Smiling Warriors, Newfoundland and Labrador. And I'll affix my signature to that. And having brought in the proclamation, I'll ask my colleagues if they'd like to comment. Councillor Randall.
Your Worship, we just finished our flag ceremony with Zita Taylor. And I must say, I think we all been involved with the Smiling Warriors since the day they started. I mean, we've been working with Zita Taylor when she was part of the multiple sclerosis chapter, and now she started her own chapter. And one thing I have to say with the Smiling Warriors, I mean, we have to go into so many events with Zita and her group. We have to become friends with them. And it's not multiple sclerosis, it's a chronic debilitating disease. But this group, when they get together, there are no disabilities. They get together and they have fun and they enjoy themselves, and it's more of a friendship now and a bonding. And when we get together with these people, it's such a good group, and so glad we can have it MS Awareness Month. And congratulations to Zita and all our group. Thank you very much.
Well said. Any further comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the next proclamation, which is pertaining to ovarian cancer here in Canada. The proclamation is for World Ovarian Cancer Day, which is May 8th, 2021. Whereas an estimated 3,100 Canadian women will be newly diagnosed with ovarian cancer this year. And whereas ovarian cancer is the 5th most common cancer for women and the most serious women's cancer. And whereas ovarian cancer has no reliable screening test, and symptoms are often confused with other less severe illnesses. And whereas as many as 23% of women with ovarian cancer have an inherited genetic mutation, and whereas genetic testing is a way to identify people at high risk before they develop ovarian cancer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, the Mayor of Mount Pearl, on behalf of my colleagues in council, do hereby proclaim May 8th, 2021 as World Ovarian Cancer Day. And I encourage all citizens of the city of Mount Pearl, and the province for that matter, to talk to their health providers about ovarian cancer and to seek to learn more about this disease. And again, I'll fix my signature on your behalf. Is there any comments from the floor?
I would, Your Worship.
Yes, please, Councillor Fry.
I always, it's always a pleasure to speak about this one because a number of years ago, when Susan Glynn first came to us about her proclamation and her plight to create awareness, I have to admit, like as a woman, I've heard of ovarian cancer, but I didn't know what it was. And to read this, that it's the most serious women's cancer, but yet there is no reliable screening test. That in itself is scary. And then to add to that, that the symptoms are often confused with other less severe illnesses like bloating and bladder and things that are typically written off. I look at all the work that Susan Glynn has done in her awareness and her campaign for awareness, and I applaud her because this is something that we should all be this is something we should know more about. And by her doing this type of proclamation and all of the campaign and awareness that she does, it makes women like me aware and know what to look for when it comes to this horrible disease. And I just want to give a shout out to Susan because I know that she usually comes into our council chambers and does this with us. But she, of course, we're doing it virtual, so she's not able to be here, and I'm sure she's watching virtually. So just a shout out to Susan and a sincere thank you as a woman for all the work that she does to create awareness for this horrible disease.
Thank you very much. Any further
Your Worship?
Yes,
Yeah,
please,
I'd just like to further that. Well said there, Councillor Fry. I too, when Susan first came in and was made aware of this, the symptoms are so common and written off to other illnesses. But yes, it's important for women, but also for husbands and fathers to know of this as well, to bring the awareness to this, so that any women in their lives, they can also be informed and educated on this. And again, when Susan first came in to present this, I too was struck by the prevalence of this. I mean, 3,100 Canadians will be diagnosed this year, and as you said, Councillor Fry, it's it's the most serious cancer. I think many of us think, we're always seeing, cancer fundraising, and the broad umbrella of cancer has been in my life, as long as I can remember. But as we go on, you learn that it has many branches, this cancer tree, and specific cancers have specific conditions and require further research. To your point, the fact that, there's no reliable screening test for this, I mean, that is alarming. Mm-hmm. And in this day and age, hopefully, with the efforts of Susan, as well as us bringing in the proclamation, hopefully we can draw some needed attention to this and see if we can't get a reliable screening test and make this something of the past. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on, I guess. Yes, we shall, to committee work, infrastructure, public works, noting that Councillor Fry, you'll be seconding any motions coming out of today's IPW committee report. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. The first here is a couple of change orders with the Badcock Place reconstruction. One is to widen the trail from 1.5 to 2 meters. And this is minimum standard for trail width. The other is to extend the connection to Jeffers Drive, and that will just upgrade the infrastructure there. Sorry, my screen just went blank. Give me a second there, guys. Oh, there we are. Sorry about that. The total cost for this, Your Worship, is $11,881. And this is within budget. So our committee is recommending that we proceed with these two change orders. Again, for trail widening and to extend the water connection to Jeffers Drive. It'll also involve the installation of a new valve and a T-cross. So the trail widening is $1,146.55, including HST. And the water main upgrading is $10,735.25, also including HST. And we're recommending that we proceed with this, and I so move.
It is moved by the Deputy Mayor and second by Councillor Fry. Two change orders totaling $11,881.80. Any comments? Hearing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor? And those opposed? And Deputy Mayor, that motion is carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. The next is a contract recommendation for a dual stream recycling truck and a rear loader garbage truck. These will add to our fleet. The tenders for the supply and delivery of each of these. The lowest qualified bidder was Saunders Equipment Limited for the bid amount of $686,895. That includes HST. And we're recommending this contract be awarded to Saunders Equipment Limited for this amount. And this, of course, is within our fleet plan budget. And I so move.
It is moved by the Deputy Mayor and second by Councillor Fry. Just quickly, Council, one of my screens froze and it was yours, Deputy Mayor. So I kind of heard the beginning and I heard the end, but I didn't know. I saw some looks. Did everybody hear the Deputy Mayor, or could they hear him? Or maybe it was just my connection, was it?
I heard the beginning and the end. The middle was kind of blurred.
Okay.
Heard the amount.
So we've all read the report. Is it suffice to proceed with the information you have?
We heard the amount. The amount was heard.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. So just to review it, it's two trucks, a dual stream recycling truck and a rear loader garbage truck. The lowest qualified bidder was Saunders Equipment Limited. The bid amount was $686,895. That's inclusive of HST. And this is within the amount per our fleet plan budget. And I so move.
It is moved again by the Deputy Mayor and second by Councillor Fry. Councillor Antle, question.
Yeah, two questions actually. First one is, I noticed we're buying a rear load garbage truck, and I noticed that we always have sidearms on our garbage trucks. My first question is, why are we buying a rear loading garbage truck? And secondly, when will these be actually delivered?
Well, I think the rear load will be for our bulk garbage, and in some cases we may use rear loading for, like, leaf pickup and stuff like that. Usually they're not something that you're going to get next week. So I would suggest, and Director Rental can jump in here, probably within a year, Director Rental, we can expect these for next year. So that's the reason for that, Councillor Rental.
Thank you.
All right, Councillor Fry.
Just wanted to add one thing here while I have the opportunity. It's a dual stream recycling truck. So I just wanted to draw attention. This is for the reason, the purpose of this is because we have two different recycling, correct? Like one for cardboards and another one for plastics. So they're separated when they go to the dump. Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Those opposed? And motion carried. We have two garbage trucks on order.
Constant improvement to our fleet, Your Worship. With that said, we have two heavy-duty tandem trucks in our next item, a contract recommendation. The tender for the supply and delivery trucks with mounted salt bodies, front snow blades, wings, and a 50-ton Pintle hitch. These are the specifications that we put in our tender. The tender closed on March 9th of 2021, and we received 3 bids in this case. The lowest qualified bidder was Harvey and Company Limited, and the bid amount was $598,482.66, including our HST. And our committee is recommending to award this to Harvey and Company for that bid amount. And again, this is within the budget amount in our fleet plan budget, and I so move.
Again, moved by the Deputy Mayor and second by Councillor Fry. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor? Contrary-minded, motion carried.
Our next item, Your Worship, has to do with some bus shelter installation. As Council knows, we, over the past year or so, the city installed 3 repurposed Metro bus shelters around the city. One is along Smallwood Drive up by the motor vehicle registration. The second is on Old Placentia Road, close to the Greenwood Field there. And the third is on Ruth Avenue, across the street from the intermediate and Mount Pearl Senior High School. And a couple of weeks back, we made mention that their crew has installed some solar panels into these bus shelters. So they're a great addition. They're a great addition to the city for our bus riders. So in our 2021 budget discussions, we made plans for installation of an additional shelter to be purchased and installed. We looked at a number of potential locations, and one that was brought forth at the committee based on observations from our staff is that we install one in the area of Coleman's grocery store on Park Avenue there. Seems to be a cluster and a high concentration of users at this particular area. The cost to install and purchase, including our materials and labor, is in the range of about $10,000, including HST. And again, we have funding that's available within the 2021 budget. So we are recommending approval to install this bus shelter. And again, the location will be on Park Avenue in the area of Coleman's grocery store. And I so move.
Doesn't require a motion, I don't think, does it, Ms. Lewis? I don't believe in this particular case it's an operational consideration, but it's a great announcement.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But,
thank you.
The consensus has been there, so I don't sense that anybody's going to ask you to relocate it, sir. So I think we're good.
Okay. Thank you. The remaining items for us, Your Worship, are some status updates. First, for Public Works, our spring garbage collection started this week. Our road maintenance, signage, garbage collection, and recycling has been ongoing. And our seasonal lawn repairs have started throughout the city. With respect to capital projects, our status updates, the asphalt and concrete repair RFP closed on April 22nd, 2021. Our upcoming tenders include work on the smart accessible playground in the St. David's Avenue area, the Topsail Road storm outfall and upgrades to our city hall, in particular the east wing roof, and our heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. And of course, the pedestrian underpass repairs with specific details to the one crossing Old Placentia Road there. In terms of our facility maintenance status updates, our janitorial service packages are prepared for public tender, and they will be issued this week. And spring cleanup is happening around our city, both around our facilities as well as inside our facilities. And that's just information update, Your Worship, and that's it for our committee. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you very much, sir. Now to the Community Development Committee report, Councillor Fry.
Thank you, Your Worship. We don't have a lot to bring forward here today, but first on our agenda is our development permit list for the period of April the 19th to the 30th. And as you can see in the kit here, there are 4, including the side yard variance, demolition of a new building, a propane tank installation, and a temporary commercial outdoor patio. So these are for your consideration, and so move.
It is moved by Councillor Fry, seconded by Councillor Antle, noting that Landwash is getting a temporary outdoor commercial patio. Well, that'll be interesting. And some other good work there with propane tank installation and demolition of on-site work related to Newfoundland Power. Any comments? Hearing none, I'll move the development permit list. All in favor? Contrary-minded, carried.
Okay, next we have our building and occupancy permit listing. And this is also for the period of April the 19th to the 30th. So I guess it's probably a good opportunity to remind residents that if they're planning to do any renovations, to come to City Hall and get a permit. As you can see here in the kit, it goes from everywhere from a single dwelling to adding a basement apartment to sheds and fences and patios and resurfacing driveways and exterior renovations. So they're all listed here in the kit. And also we have occupancy permits issued for 3 locations. We have Jocelyn Kylie Massage Therapy, which is a clinic, ERA Holdings for an office and warehouse, and Fastlane Courier for an office on Austin Street. And I so move.
Councillor Fry has moved the occupancy permits, the building construction commercial, as well as the residential, and it has been seconded by Councillor Antle. All in favor? Those opposed, motion carried.
Worship, I should just add there that the total construction value of the building permits that we issued is for $2,485,050.
Thank you very much.
And that's it for us this evening.
Councillor Antle.
Yeah, I got a quick question regarding building permits, and maybe Director, just because I had a question and I thought maybe we'd answer it in public. Can the residents come inside now to City Hall to pick up building permits, or can they still do it online, or how does that work now?
Director Collins.
You can do both. Certainly in this time, we would encourage anything online, but certainly people can come in and pick up a permit.
Thank you.
All right, let's turn our attention now to the Corporate Services and Economic Development Committee report. Councillor Antle.
Now we got a pair of bills. We're buying, the deputy mayor is buying all these trucks and snow plows, and we have to pay our bills somewhere along the way. So I guess it's my turn. You can see in your kit there for invoices for approval, there are 21 there totaling $679,133.21. And just to highlight a couple of those there, you can see one there in particular, which I think we're all excited about, is number 14 for KMPLG Professional Services. And you might see it's for $23,000, and it's for a community center feasibility study. KMP was hired by the city this winter to complete a concept design and a viability study for a proposed 13,000 square foot community center that would eventually replace Park Place. This is an important step in council's decision-making process, understanding the needs of our community and what a new community center would look like, both from a design and an ongoing operational impact. The planning process is still ongoing, and we look forward to completing this step and communicating the outcome to our residents and businesses. So that's good news. We'd like to hear that one. And you see another one there for Questica, and that's number 19. And you can see on the Questica, that's the city embarked on a full digital transformation last year, replacing all our systems with new and improved ones to better serve our community. Part of the upgrade is a new budgeting system. Questica, the implementation has started and will complete just in time for us to start the 2022 budgeting process, which we can't wait for, later around this summer. And for later on, for your information, for a total of $679,133.21, and I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Antle, second by Councillor Fry, including a good level of detail, sir. Well expressed. All in favor? Contraminded, and motion is carried.
Especially when we're spending good money, and we got all these good news
Now
announcements.
you're on the committee that brings in the money too, right? In addition to
There you
spending, right? Yeah.
There you go. Well, it's double edged, right? And then I'll need our payment register. You can see it from April 16th to the 19th for a total of $1,374,701.75. And without going through all them, you can see them in your kit, and there for your information. And that's it for that one. Any questions or there's no motion for those, right? Okay. And number 3, it's an RFP for a virtualization infrastructure replacement. The committee recommends the RFP for the virtualized infrastructure be awarded to REN Technologies based on analysis of the proposals and assignment of scoring. The overall proposed amount is $92,400.33, including HST, all total budget, and I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Antle and second by Councillor Fry. Any questions, comments? I'll move the motion. I'll bring the motion to the floor. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carries.
And number 4 is some more good news. The facade improvement recommendation. This facade improvement has been ongoing over the past few years, where we encourage businesses within the city of Mount Pearl to upgrade their building and make the buildings look more presentable for more new tenants and new business coming into the city of Mount Pearl. And our economic development team have been solid at this, and they go to new businesses or go to businesses around Mount Pearl and talk about how we can help. We're not just here to collect taxes, we're to help the businesses get more business in the city of Mount Pearl. And this time, we have, they can receive almost up to 50% of the total cost to a maximum of $10,000. And each application score is recorded below along with the total project cost. So we have 2 there around this time, and one is the Shield Group up on 32 on Dundee Avenue, and they're going to do up their building, and the project cost was $4,100. And we reviewed that and looked at their amount, and we recommended the grant amount of $1,200. And I so move.
Councillor Antle has moved 2 applications for the facade improvement program, and it's been seconded by Councillor Fry. Any questions?
Nope.
Call the motion. All in favor? Contrary-minded, and it is carried.
And there's one more with that one, the same for Napa Auto Pro on 1072 Topsail Road, and same thing. They looked at their building and their total project cost $20,700. And we reviewed this request, and we granted them an amount of $5,000, and I so move.
Again, moved and seconded by Councillors Antle and Fry. All in favor? Contrary-minded, and carried.
And that's everything for our committee, Your Worship.
And that dispenses, I believe, with the agenda for today, with the exception of new business. And I'm going to turn to the next in order based on our tradition. Councillor Fry.
Okay, there are a few things that have been happening here in the city. I guess people are aware now that we had our food drive, and food bank we had our check presentation for that on April the 23rd, and the total amount for that, total amount raised was $21,000, which is tremendous. So I mean, that just goes to show the community spirit that we have. So again, thank you to everybody who participated in that. On April the 28th is a National Day of Mourning, and that is to commemorate workers who have been killed, injured, or suffered illnesses due to workplace-related hazards. And normally we would go to the Confederation building and have a ceremony, but of course with COVID that wasn't possible this year. So I just wanted to acknowledge it here because it's especially relevant now with the coronavirus, because our healthcare workers and other essential workers and staff, they risk potential illness every day that they go to work. So the health and safety of our staff, of course, is always a priority at the City of Mount Pearl, and we continually strive to ensure our workplaces are as safe as possible. Also on April the 28th, the Mount Pearl Sport Alliance had held their annual general meeting, and I just wanted to give a little shout out to the executive here. Chairperson is Caroline Kellaway. Vice Chair is Shelley O'Brien. Past Chair is Jerry Rice. The Secretary is Daryl Windsor. The Treasurer is Andrew Walsh. And officers at large are Justin Locke and Thomas Hawkins. And our sporting and recreation in our city is so strong. You know, we thank all the volunteers and everybody who participates in that area. Also, the North America Occupational Safety and Health Week started Sunday, May the 4th. And this continues through to May the 10th. The goal of, it's called NOSH Week, is to focus the attention of employers, employees, and the general public, and all partners in occupational safety and health on the importance of preventing injury and illness in the workplace, at home, and in the community. So throughout the course of the week, our staff are participating in a series of training and activities that ensure we continue to develop the skills needed to operate safely. So safety and planning for the safe response of the city in an emergency are things that we take seriously here in Mount Pearl. Also, we have Emergency Preparedness Week coming up, which encourages everyone to take concrete actions to better to be better prepared to protect themselves and their families during emergencies. So this year's theme is Emergency Preparedness, Be Ready for Anything, which is very fitting considering the unprecedented impact that COVID has had on us all. As with our team here at the city, we also encourage our residents to take a few simple steps that they can better prepare, them to face any range of emergencies anytime and anywhere. So just to highlight a couple, it's important to know the risks associated with consequences of disasters. It can be similar. Knowing the risks specific to you can help you prepare. Make a plan. It will help you and your family know what to do. Get an emergency kit. Now, I have one of these. During an emergency, we will need all of the basic supplies. So we may need to get by without any power or water, and be prepared to be self-sufficient for at least 72 hours. I think we all learned that last year during Snowmageddon. Consider alternative options. As this pandemic will likely impact how we do business for some time to come, please consider alternative processes such as teleconference or video conference to coordinate your daily meetings like we're doing here today. And finally, for me, I just want to acknowledge Volunteer Week, which was last week, and to send a sincere thank you to all of the volunteers that we have. We're so fortunate to have the number of volunteers we have in our city, and we appreciate each and every contribution, no matter how big or small. You know, everyone counts. So that's it for me, Your Worship. Just a thank you to everybody, all the volunteers, and thankful to have this wonderful, beautiful, sunny day here today as well. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Councillor. And next on the list is Councillor Antle.
Your Worship, I'll try to be brief. I have a few things to talk about. A couple of things I just want to talk about. I got a couple of phone calls this week, and I'd like to talk about a couple of those if possible. But one of them, we took care of it as a city already. Is that one of the things that people have to remember to keep their dogs tied on, keep them tethered. If you're going to take your dog out for a walk, keep them on a leash. If you have a dog and you put them out in your backyard, make sure he stays in the backyard. Some people are afraid of dogs. If your dog is roaming the neighborhood just because you're not afraid of the dog, there's people out there who are afraid of dogs. So really have to pay attention. The residents are getting worried when they see dogs being untethered. So you can keep an eye on your dog and make sure he's in your backyard and not roaming. It will make everybody's lives a lot easier. Our trails, I got a couple of calls on our trails. We have the best trails, I think, in the province. Everybody loves our trails, and our shared trails. Trails can be used by joggers, walkers, people on bikes. We have electric bikes now that are using our trails, but we have to remember it's a shared use trail, and we have to show some courtesy to everybody else who's on the trail. We're not going to take it away from one to the other. If you're using your bike, you got to pay attention. There's walkers on that trail, and not everybody has good hearing. So you got to pay attention. Even though your bell is ringing, sometimes you got to be careful. You got to slow down and make sure that everybody is safe. Courtesy on the trails go a long way and make the trails. I mean, we're all using the trails and they're getting better and better. And a little courtesy goes a long way. The deputy mayor just talked about we're doing our spring cleanup starting. We started there a couple of days ago. And Mount Pearl now has a spring cleanup for the community. And I think that's fabulous that we have this. Every other year we get together as a community and we go out and we clean up the river in a group. But with the pandemic, we can't get it done this year. But right now we're doing it as a city, and you can call Rosie at 748-1008 and just do a 20-minute makeover. It's quite easy to do in the community. We're going to do it through the May and June. And if you call up, we can supply you with free bags and gloves. And if every resident takes the time to picks up 20 minutes, our city will look so much better. And speaking of that, we're getting ready to start gardening, and I can't wait to start my community garden. The sooner the better. The snow's all gone. We got a little bit of heat. And on that note, the city is launching a composting pilot project. This week is International Compost Awareness Week, running from May 2nd to May the 8th. The theme this year is Grow, Eat, Compost, Repeat. Highlights the circular movement of the organic recycling process. Nature's recycling leads to healthy soils, whether small or large in scale. Composting offers each of us a responsible way to manage our organic waste, make our soils rich to grow healthy food while protecting our environment. The city is committed to lowering our greenhouse gas emissions, and in doing so, part of that fight against climate change. Today, over 40% of our waste collected from residents is organic or food waste, and there's no better time to announce our first ever compost pilot project. Starting tomorrow, residents can put their names together in a lottery to participate in our composting pilot. Names will be selected on May the 17th, and through the course of the summer, these participants will participate fully in a pilot project, providing feedback the full way along. All details will be available on our website starting tomorrow morning. And knowing Director Pittman, could be on Facebook right now. And you can also follow our social media to learn more. Who knows, if you sign up for a pilot, you might help us deliver a bin rate directly, I never noticed that. Who knows, one of us councillors may deliver a compost bin right directly to your house. Good one, Cassie. I never noticed it until last minute. I think it'd be great to see the mayor dropping off a compost pile to a resident in Mount Pearl. And that has so many things I could say about it. So also part of that this week is National Firefighters Day. Today is May the 4th, right? And one of these things we appreciate our firefighters and volunteers, and it's near and dear to my heart because my son is a volunteer firefighter out in Massey Drive. So I think we should all take a minute just to thank our firefighters and our volunteer firefighters for all they do and keep us safe. Now that's everything for me, Your Worship, and thank you for delivering compost bins.
Thank you, Councillor Antle. Deputy Mayor Locke, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Many of my items have been covered by Councillors Fry and Antle. But just to pick up on what Councillor Antle said, because about the pathways in particular, and the trailways and the multi-use, first is with your pets. And he's right, because I've had a number of residents tell me that they have an extreme fear of dogs. And they like to go out and enjoy our pathways, but sometimes folks will be out. Not only are their dogs off tether, sometimes, not a lot of times, but sometimes. And then the typical response is, oh, don't worry, she doesn't bite, or he doesn't bite, or she's friendly. But that does not bring any comfort to the person that has a fear of the dogs. So I think it's a valid point. But also some of our walkers with their dogs have these retractable leashes. So they may have them on the leash, but if the leash is out 30 feet, it still doesn't bring any comfort to the resident who's walking. So I think Councillor Antle mentioned the word courtesy and respect for your fellow users of the pathways. And just make sure that your dog is in control, like close by you when people are walking by. And that will allow everyone to enjoy it. Your pet will enjoy it, but also it'll allay some of the fears of that. As for the bikers on the trails, I bike the trails as well. And I do have a bell on my bike some years back, probably 10 years back now. Mr. Collins can probably speak to this. We did have City of Mount Pearl bells, and they do work. However, sometimes there's people out walking that have these earbuds in, and they don't hear the bells. They don't hear anything. And sometimes you startle them as you go past because they're not tuned in. But again, if you reduce your speed and take your time going by, it just provides a safer environment for everybody. So I concur with what Councillor Antle was saying there. The other thing with respect to the paths, and I raised this with some of our staff, again, speaking with some of the residents while I'm out walking the trails, and it's the amount of litter or trash or rubbish that's thrown into our pathways over people's back fences. They see the city's open space as a place where they can deposit wood, concrete, leaves when they cut the branches off their trees. They just dump it out there. And it's clearly visible this time of the year before the foliage is back on the trees. But one thing that came to mind while Councillor Fry was bringing the building permits. I noticed 7 or 8 there were fences. In many of my walks, residents have replaced their fences, their posts, and the big, deposits of concrete at the bottom of the old posts, they throw those out in the trailway. And I'm just wondering, it came to me as Councillor Fry was reading this, maybe during our permitting process, when we issue the permit, maybe just a reminder to our residents that these materials you're responsible for bringing these materials away from your property and not dumping them in the city's public spaces, because it's litter and it just looks terrible. And a number of residents have brought that to my attention. And I'm also wondering if we can alert the people, because let's face it, if you're replacing 10 or 12 posts, these concrete slabs are they're heavy. There's a cost to getting them carried away. But is that something that maybe I'll bring it up at our next IPW meeting? Is that something we could offer as a service? I know there's a fee for bulk garbage pickup, but for those folks who are replacing their fences, could we offer that as a fee for service to extend that? So I'll just throw that out there as food for thought. And I don't expect an answer now, but I'll certainly I'll bring it up at our next IPW committee meeting. And that's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Folks, I have very little to add, except I did know one thing not covered was the tour of O'Neill Motors that we did, I believe a week ago, Thursday, probably on the 28th or so. And I want to congratulate Rick O'Neill and his ownership group over there. And also I want to give a big shout out to our staff here at the City of Mount Pearl, especially in the Community Development Department, who nursed along an application or two or three and helped the development of that project move along at very quick speed. And Rick O'Neill is very, very pleased, and he's a sizable investment there, an asset which will be in this city for many, many, many years to come. And it's nice to see our business community expressing confidence in the future despite the pandemic. So it was a very good news story, and I want to congratulate everybody on this side of the table, as well as congratulate the O'Neill Motors Group as well on their side. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, just to further that, Your Worship, no, speaking with Mr. O'Neill, and he was very complimentary to all the staff in the city for the efforts that they took. And I just want to put that out there, that even during the COVID and all the challenges, he was so complimentary. And he said to me on a number of occasions, if anybody is thinking about doing business in Mount Pearl and they want to know from personal experience, he said, send them to me. And he's not the only business I've heard that from that has come to our city. And they're very impressed with how we reach out to our business partners. We help them walk through the permitting process. And I mean, it's on my mug here. It's, consider it done. Our staff does a great job to accommodate and meet the needs of our business owners that want to come here. So I just wanted to highlight that as well and tip my hat to all of our staff who do such great work for us day in and day out. Thank you, Your Worship.
But that was a very big, long-term project. And I too want to say, what a great contribution our staff made towards getting that done. And you're right, Deputy Mayor, it's not limited to that one particular application or that one particular development in the city. And, staff have shown flexibility, but have also shown, for example, that they need to stick with the regulations and any engineering principles and concepts that are, required. Any standards that have to be met. We'll continue to abide by that in how we deal with developers. But it's nice to see flexibility. I think it does show we're open for business, to quote a very generic term. But I believe we live it here in the city of Mount Pearl. So congratulations to everybody involved. And on that note, I am finished. I have nothing further to add, and I'm going to call for a motion from the floor, please, to adjourn the meeting. Moved by the Deputy Mayor and second by Councillor Fry. And we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you back here at 20 minutes or 30 minutes. What works for everybody?
Oh, 30 minutes. Perfect.
Half an hour. So let's make it 5:45 for committee of the whole. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.